Prediction Markets as you're on the early on a Monday. No better place to be. Start your week with us. It's Donnie Rightside, and it's Joe Ranieri. And the topics, they keep on flowing. Big game atmospheres this week, and also a different way to approach and investing your money here. Joe, you got the PGA Championship this week. Again, you got Major League Baseball today. Short schedule, but Joe has a best bet there. NBA action doubleheader. I have a best bet. And also, there is a hockey game tonight. The Colorado Avalanche with a new goalie. Could that spur them to another victory, or do we see that series go back to Colorado all tied up? A lot of topics to get to. A lot of fun, Joe, to be had here.
Ton of fun to get had here, Donnie, because we've got a lot going on and a lot to be excited about this week. And it won't be long before the prediction markets and maybe some of those NFL win total markets start to come into play here.
How about that? Let's get it started. By the way, NFL schedule released this week. We'll get some of those games and maybe talk about those a little bit later this week. But before we get there, let's get to the NBA tonight. Last time we saw the Detroit Pistons and the Cavaliers, it was a victory by the Cavaliers on their home court to make that series 2-1, still in the favor of the Detroit Pistons. But tonight, the Cavaliers have a chance if they pull off a minor upset to actually say, you know what? We're going to send this bad boy back to Detroit 2-2. But if we look, Joe, you would say to yourself, is it really an upset at this point? No, because the favorite team is actually the Cavaliers tonight. Trading on Kalshi at a 59% chance to win this game. The yes contract sits at 60 cents, which means a $100 investment would pay back $167 for Cleveland to win tonight. If they do, Joe, 2-2, back to Motown.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, historically, Donnie, in this spot here where you got a home team down 2-1, and they are a favorite. I think they've actually won and covered at about a 57-58% clip here. So, yes, history tells us that the Cavs are the right side here. The problem is my eyeballs tell me this team can't be trusted. And it's James Harden, and we all know this. And while, yes, don't forget, James Harden won and was huge down the stretch for them in Game 3, but he was absolutely nowhere to be found in Game 1 and 2. And expecting him to have back-to-back games is not something I'd be willing to roll the dice on. I think maybe the better play here, Donnie, quite honestly, is if the Cavs don't play better defense, they're not winning this game here. I think the under is the better way to go. The market keeps pushing this thing up. I need to see a Cavs defensive effort here that limits Detroit tonight. And if they do, I think this thing's going to be much lower scoring.
James Harden in game number 3, Joe, scored 19 points. If you think he can get one more point tonight, maybe another victory for the Cleveland Cavaliers, you got over to Kalshi. 20-plus points is currently trading at 48 cents to the yes. That's a $100 investment that pays back $209 here. Now, tonight, I told you, I like those Los Angeles Lakers out of the West Coast getting 10.5 points in one of those games where it's like, bet it and forget it. Wake up in the morning and pray that you got the cover. Oklahoma City, Joe, to win this game outright on Kalshi is trading at 82 cents for that yes, which means a $100 investment only pays back $122. If you feel that the Lakers can win this game outright, you don't need the points, a $100 investment pays back $527. It's 3-0 Thunder, 4-0, which means the series is over. And on the OKC Thunder go to the Western Conference Finals on a chance to go back-to-back. Do the Lakers, Joe, put up a last stand, or is it just too much and too deep OKC?
Well, I'm going to go back to the well here, Donnie. We've talked about this because I don't believe that if they're not in it early, they're not going to be in it late. And they have certainly been in it early. I think in this series, Donnie, they're only -5 point differential in the first half. But like we talked to Kev earlier, that they're getting blown. They're not covering any games. They're double-digit dogs, and they're getting blown out. But that happens in the second half. So I do think we are going to have a lower-scoring game early in the first half. And I do think the Lakers might very well just win that first half. I'd look to back them again early in this game tonight.
Chet Holmgren at 18 points in that Game 3 victory, Joe. If you feel that he can up that a bit and get 20-plus points, it's actually plus money. Yes, contract is 42 cents, which means a $100 investment would pay back $239. Let's get the ice advice that you need tonight. Game 4 in Minnesota, which saw a really impressive game by Minnesota, 5-1 in that game, easily up against Colorado. The series now sits 2-1. The Colorado Avalanche are the favorites still in this game with the goalie change, currently trading at 56 cents as the yes contract, which means, Joe, a $100 investment on the Avalanche would pay back $179 in a victory. But if the Wild can pull that upset, yes contract at 46 cents, that would be plus money. $100 investment pays back $218.
Well, can they do exactly what they did in Game 3, Donnie? Can they be more physical? Can they play from in front? And if they can, Minnesota home ice in front of those crazy fans, they will likely go ahead and head back to Colorado with this series tied 2-2. But, man, does it feel like Colorado's got a really good opportunity to head back with a 3-1 series lead. And at plus money, oh, boy, I want to take Minnesota, but I think ultimately, I think Colorado is a road favorite for a reason. I think I'm going to go with Colorado to get this one done here tonight.
Step it up. We'll see how many goals we get to tonight, but that is a monster game that could tie that series up. Same way we talked about the NBA in game number 1 tonight between the Pistons and the Cavaliers. But let's talk some Major League Baseball. Did you know the Rays are in first place over the New York Yankees by a couple percentage points here? The Rays are going to take on the Blue Jays today starting at 7:07. Good pitching match on the mound tonight, and Toronto is trading as the favorite. Toronto wins this game outright with Gausman on the mound. A $100 investment pays back $182. If you feel like Joe does, that, hey, you know what? Tampa's the best team here. Tampa's going to win this game. I'll take them maybe in a lower scoring game. A $100 investment is plus money, Joe. You get back $218 on that return.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you guys know I like Tampa Bay in this one, but you know what else I might like, Donnie? The bullpen of Toronto is suspect, to say the least. I would not be shocked. I mean, again, this is the second time these lineups are seeing these pitchers here. They saw them just, again, back on the 5th of May. So, yeah, I think it's advantage offenses. I still like Tampa, but I think I'm leaning towards the over 7.5 as well.
If you take the over in this marketplace here today, Joe, and say to yourself, all right, well, I think some guys can score. The under actually is a $100 investment, pays back $189, which means the over on the 7.5, that's plus money in your back pocket. That game, once again, starts at 7:07. Let's get to some more Major League Baseball out there. It's the Giants and it's the Dodgers. Two teams that don't like each other all that much, but also you take a look at the Dodgers here tied for first place. Then you say to yourself on the Giants, boy, they're looking about pulling up the rear here with the Colorado Rockies. Tony Vitello is the manager of that baseball team. Things aren't working out well. We even had a video before that we were showing going, how long is this guy going to last? But today, the Dodgers, a favorite, Joe, 62 cents here has a chance to win. Yes, contract at 63 cents, which is currently trading for a return of $159 if the Dodgers win this game.
That's a big if. Let's face it. We've got a Giants team here that is just awful. What'd they lose? 9 of their last 11. The Pirates just smacked them 13-3.
Yeah.
You've got a manager there that's in over his head. Nobody's hitting. Nobody is pitching. But the problem is the Dodgers can't be all that trusted anyway. But I'll tell you this, Donnie. Dodgers losing 2 of 3 to the other best team in Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves. I can live with that. I can't live with the Dodgers losing to the Giants here. I think I'd even lay the 1.5 here if we're being completely honest.
Also, going to have some more fun there with the Calcio Marketplace by saying who actually is one of those managers that could be fired in 2026, which goes up to December 1st, 2026. One of those guys we just talked about. That's Tony Vitello. I don't think he's going to get fired because it really would be short-sighted to say, hey, going to bring this guy over and at least not give him a full year. But again, you can give him the full year and he gets fired after the World Series. That counts as a manager that got fired because obviously it's before December 1st, 2026. That $100 investment, if you feel they pull the trigger on Tony Vitello, Joe, that would pay back $323. How about that? Managers never safe out here in the streets.
No, you can't. And unfortunately, it's, feet to the fire, learning on the go, but it doesn't feel like it's going to end well, Donnie.
You know, the favorite to get fired is right now in Calci. That's Carlos Mendoza of the Mets. They can't get out of their own way. More PME coming up after the break.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put their team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like 2, like, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Let me understand this, Joe. Are we going to have any broadcast games on TV anymore? It's all streaming?
You got to pay to watch here, folks. That's just the way it's going to be, one way or the other. And I'm sure this will satisfy the FCC looking into the coercion that's going on here with the NBA NFL broadcast rights. Yeah, this is all par for the course, I think.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
There's all these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue that he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Now, I see him 15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark, and I think that makes sense, Donnie. I don't see him in the top 10. I really don't. I mean, when you look at, let's say, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you start going into that, teams like the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Chiefs, and, could they take a flyer?
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
Back at it on PME on the Early Line for a Monday here in Joe. And as we said, this week, the PGA Championship comes to a round in the Philadelphia area. Crowd should be there. Who is going to be crowned champion of the PGA? Now, granted, we've been hearing a lot about the PGA Tour and the Live Golf Tour. If that winds down, where the superstar goes, are they welcome back? Rory McIlroy actually now changed his stance. Yeah, I think there should be a pathway for some of these guys to come back. But also understand this. Social media is a big deal nowadays where these players can advance their own careers and also put the PGA Tour and Live Golf in positive lights by putting the information out there, or maybe you attract more fans. Front Office Sports Joe sent this tweet. The PGA Tour is rolling out a new social media policy to allow players to post more content. This comes just as Bryson DeChambeau spoke out about his YouTube ambitions as a potential hurdle to returning. How about that, Joe?
Yeah, and again, I think the PGA Tour is smart enough to understand that, more eyeballs, the better it is. And when you've got a guy like Bryson who is coming back one way or the other, but he makes it known that he can't do as much content, why would you want to do that in the PGA? More eyeballs, the better, right? So adjust whatever you got to adjust and let the guy be that. It's not like everyone else is going to run to YouTube and create what Bryson has created. There's only a handful of guys that could ever do it, and he's one of them.
Yeah, hey, put that YouTube channel out there. It's just like when COVID hit, everybody got a podcast. Doesn't mean everybody had a great podcast or everybody watched those said podcasts here. But as we take a look at some of these superstars trying to make their way back to the PGA Tour and hopefully back into the good graces, Brooks Koepka took a lot of money from Live Golf and then had to spend $5 million just to try to come back and be a PGA Tour player. He actually went 12 under in the Myrtle Beach Classic. Let's hear from Brooks Koepka here.
That's the most excited I've been playing golf in a long, long time. I can tell you that much. It's I would say back till 23, the PGA. That's the most. It's been a long time since I've had fun playing golf. I've been at least a year. I was very frustrated last year. Just wasn't in a good place. But I think a lot of times it's like anybody, right? If they're happy off the golf course, they're gonna play well on the golf course, and I think that's a huge piece of it. And I've found that. Refound my happiness, my love for the game. It's been, all the pieces are connected. It's just now I just got to go out and go play. How much inspiration does that give you, not just for tomorrow, but especially next week and the weeks ahead? Yeah, I'm super excited. It'll be something I've been looking forward to for a while. I feel like I've been knocking on the door. It's very close. It's one piece here, one piece there. Short game wasn't quite there at Augusta. Put it okay, but short game now is starting to come around. Having Pete here, I got him in here on Wednesday night to be able to grind a little bit and make sure everything is where it needs to be.
Brooks on his way back, by the way, say, hey, he played on a PGA sanctioned event. That's great. But also, that was a $4 million purse he was playing for, where I guess just a couple miles away, the Truist, you had a $20 million purse. Let the man play on the PGA Tour. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous here. But it's good to see that he's in good spirits here, Donnie, because he certainly has the game. He's won, 6 majors. It's not like he doesn't have an opportunity to be right up at the top again on the tour. He's just got to figure out the putter. Everything else seems to be working out. It's the putter that's let him down a little bit. But I like him this week a lot, as a matter of fact.
And by the way, also understand this. He's back in good spirits here because you can take a lot of money out of the limelight. Maybe you don't love golf as much as you used to. Looks like he's got that fire burning again and willing to grind and not say, oh, well, I'm not coming back to the PGA if I got to go through these hoops here. They're making him jump through hoops, and he's trying to jump through those. Pretty good time for Brooks Koepka, and we'll see how it turns out for him in the near future, which means the PGA Championship this week. Who's the favorite? Of course, it's Scottie Scheffler, 16% chance. But, Joe, you know me. Hating on Scottie Scheffler this season. The no contract is 85 cents, which means $100 investment only pays back $118 if he doesn't win. I get everybody in the field, but then again, maybe Scottie Scheffler is the best in the field this week.
Well, he likely is, but the question is whether or not can he do it for 4 rounds, Donnie, because he always has that one early round where either Thursday or Friday where he ends up, Saturday and Sunday are great, but boy, oh boy. The question is, can we really fade Cameron Young with how good and how hot he has been over the last month? I mean, he finished 3rd at the Masters. He's got 2 wins in his last 5 starts. Maybe we should spend more time talking about Cameron Young and not Scottie Scheffler.
How about this one, Joe? Hole-in-one for the PGA Championship here. If you get one of those, it's trading at 56 cents here, which means, 54 cents. $100 investment pays back $186 if they get one. But you can ladder, Joe. 2 and 3 holes-in-ones. Now, understand this. It's not just round number 1. It's not just one golfer you pick out. You get every golfer for 4 days at the PGA Championship. I think we get one, Joe. Like, we got one at the Masters. I think we get one here at the PGA.
I think we do, too, here. But the problem is, Donnie, the par 3s here at this course are crazy. And there's also 180 bunkers in play on this golf course. Donald Ross is no joke here of a designer. This is a tough golf course, and the par 3s may be the toughest that we've seen so far on tour.
Yeah. How about this one, Joe? Round 1 leader at the PGA. So that's just one singular investment here for Thursday. Which golfer has the lead? If you do think it is Scottie Scheffler, I mean, there are some good lottery tickets you could take out. He's roughly 7 cents here, Joe, to a yes contract, which means a $100 investment pays back $1,471. Other guys up there, of course. It's going to be Bryson DeChambeau. It's going to be Rory McIlroy. But everybody lumped up. More of a sprint to the finish here. And by the way, good luck if Scottie Scheffler, Joe, has the lead at the end of round 1 at the PGA.
Yeah, exactly. But call me crazy. I like going a little long shot here. He just finished 2nd this week at the Truist, and he's been playing great. And that, of course, is Ricky Fowler. Might be able to just parlay that big finish here yesterday at the Truist. And maybe, just maybe, the putter, by the way, he is drilling him from all over the green. So Ricky Fowler might be worth a look here.
How about after cut day, Joe, which means you get Thursday and then the Friday session here. Xander Schauffele actually trading at a 24% chance to have that lead here. Then it has Ludwig Oberg at 18%, Rory and Scottie and DeChambeau and Rahm and Cameron Young. Not a lot of Rahm talk yet this week, Joe, but heading into the weekend, who do you think has a legitimate chance and maybe a contract you'd like to take out on that one?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with my boy Brooks Koepka here because, listen, the stats don't do him justice. He is striking the ball better than he has in a very long time. If he gets a couple of putts to fall on Thursday, Donnie, he'll head into the weekend with the lead. I can assure you of that.
We'll see if we have any surprises, but also a very vocal crowd anticipated in the Philadelphia region for the PGA Championship. That starts Thursday. PME continues after this short break. We are back, people. Prediction Markets Edge on the early line for a Monday, getting you ready for a big night and a big weekend of action, Joe. But as we always have, the Prediction Markets Edge on TEL, we talk about some fade the public action. How about a fade the market here? Let's go. Join up, people. Which way are we going today? Whoa, what do the people want to talk about? NBA playoffs and Netflix here, a little NHL series and Drake. Do you want to talk Drake, Joe, where Drake winds up on Spotify, how big his record's going to be?
Yeah, why not, Donnie? I think we got some time. We can always throw that in there as long as he's rooting for the Raptors still and they're not winning. I think we're all set.
All right, up there in the 7. By the way, you're rooting against technically Drake today, Joe. You got Tampa Bay over Toronto, those Blue Jays here. We'll see how that one works out. But let's get to some series-winning predictions here on Kalshi. Minnesota, who is the 6th seed, taking on San Antonio. You watched last night a victory by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Well, certainly it helps when you knock Wembanyama out of the game because why? He knocks himself out by trying to knock somebody else out with an elbow. But you still see, even though it's 2-2, best of 3 heads back basically to San Antonio, Joe, Spurs, 78% chance still to win this year, which means a yes contract on them handling their business only pays back $129. But, Joe, if you feel you want to go the opposite direction and take the upset here with Ant-Man and the boys, that $100 wager, an investment, I should say, pays back $435. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I think the series started, even Donnie, right, the look ahead, they were right around a 70 to 80% chance of winning this series outright with all the injuries. But call me crazy. I mean, what you just saw is that Minnesota's not going quietly in any way, shape, or form. But the series is going to switch back. Home court advantage seems to have done pretty well here for San Antonio. I still think they have a better shot than 20%, Minnesota. Call me crazy here, Donnie. I think they're going to get at least another one. I think this goes to 7. And if it goes to 7, my question is, Donnie, are we still looking at 80-20? Is that really what this is going to be?
How about that? You never know when the pressure rides. Not that the Spurs have always been in the spot multiple times with Wembanyama. This is a team trying to learn how to win. Series winner, Joe, in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland, the 4th seed, taking on the top seed, Detroit. Currently, Detroit does have a 2-1 series lead, but Cleveland countered with that victory in game number 3. Now they look to do it again in game number 4. But currently sits right now 2-1, Joe. Heavy favorite is Detroit. A 70-cent yes ticket, which means a $100 investment pays back $143 if the Pistons do win the series. But Cleveland is the favorite tonight. Might it be not a bad idea to take them on the yes line at 31 cents? A $100 investment pays back $323. They win. That market price is going to be decidedly lower, Joe, tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that in these series prices, you're not betting the outcome. You're betting the price adjustment, the repricing. So I can tell you now, if you think Cleveland wins this game tonight, I would jump in on this 29 cents, 30 cents, 31 cent series price now. I mean, they have yet to show me they can win on the road against anybody, Donnie. But if they win this game tonight, that's going to have to bump up. It's going to have to be repriced. And listen, anything is possible. I mean, they can luck their way into a win at Detroit. I think this is likely going 7. But I would want to jump in on Cleveland now if I think they're winning here this game tonight, tying the series up 2 apiece.
How about the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche? Avalanche left their home building up 2-0. Now that series is 2-1 with a decisive victory by the Minnesota Wild, 5-1 over the Avalanche. Now game 4 is coming up, but that's not the question we're going to ask you. The question we're going to ask is not going to win game 4. Who's going to win this series, Joe? And the Colorado Avalanche, still a monster favorite here. Trading currently to the yes at 81 cents, which means a $100 investment would pay back $124. If you feel the Minnesota Wild can pull off the upset in the series, Joe, that $100 investment pays back $500. How about that?
Well, I mean, it was funny, right? Prior to that game that just happened there, I think Minnesota was trading at about 11 cents, somewhere in that ballpark, down 2-0. Well, they won a game, Donnie, and look at that. Now they're up to 20 cents, and this is the kind of repricing we're talking about. It's not about whether you think Minnesota's actually going to win the series. The question is, do you think Minnesota's got to will win enough games to reprice this where you're going to make money on your original buy-in? And right now, 20 cents, what does it go if they do win this and go 2-2? All of a sudden, yeah, we got ourselves a different series here. So this is another one of those. If I like Minnesota tonight to tie this series up at home, I'm back. I'm grabbing that 20 cents while I can, Donnie.
Ducks even up the Vegas Golden Knights before we head back to Vegas here, but the Knights are still a favorite, trading at 59 cents as a chance. The Ducks, if you feel they can pull the upset in this series here, a $100 investment pays back $244. 2-2 series, best of 3 left, Joe.
I don't. I think Vegas wins it. This is a pretty decent price here for them. I would go ahead and jump in and grab Vegas at 6. Vegas had been trading around 75 cents the whole week, Donnie. I'll take them at 60.
PME, the place to be on a Monday, absolutely. Join us again on Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.